finishing up getting Facebook going, and then we'll be good to go. All right, I think we're good. It sees me, I see them. All right. Verify live on Facebook. This is me doing it right now, Mason. I'm live streaming on YouTube and Facebook with updated Facebook information via OBS. No Streamlabs required. For all those naysayers out there. Well, hello everybody. This is Zack with Cardinal Gaming and Repair. Don't have a lot of time today. Probably going to be streaming till about 4 o'clock. Got a, what's that thing called? Parent-teacher conference with one of my kids' teachers after they get off school. So, gonna hang out for about 2 hours, do what few repairs I can do in 2 hours, just so I can try to. Right now, my goal is to establish consistency in the streaming process. Try to get a good weekly habit going and keep it maintained. So that's the goal here. I could have done it tomorrow, but I got decent candidates for repair today, so we're just gonna do that. I guess we could get started. We don't really. Well, before we get started, why don't we say this? If you need repairs done, come see us at our 2 Louisville locations, Cardinal Gaming Repair, or online, cnagames.com. We accept mail-in repairs and local repairs, and we offer business-to-business services as well. So if that's anything you're ever interested in, keep us in mind. With that being said, today we have some straightforward stuff. Here is a Nintendo Switch brought in for, if I remember correctly, one of the Joy-Cons not connecting to the dock or to the railing. Left Joy-Con not connecting to Switch railing. So what I'm going to do here first is try to replicate the issue. This one is typically a very straightforward issue in that I wish I could go home. Straightforward issue in that it's either going to be the Joy-Con rail that is bad, the tablet rail that is bad, and in rare cases, mostly limited to this side, where there's a diode that's failed that causes the fan to not work, along with I just heard a connection, so at least it's intermittent. Causes the fan to stop working, along with no connection to right Joy-Con. So since we're here dealing with left Joy-Con, we can reasonably assume that that is not the case. Wayne, love your humor. You know, I have a big problem with that actually, Wayne. I've been trying to figure out how to be more authentic in my online persona, where it's funny if you watch Mason on YouTube and then you see my typical live streams or any other prior repair videos I've made. I have a hard time not being like boring, monotone instructor type setup versus Mason, where he's much more animated and I don't know what other word to use besides he's more animated and seems more comfortable in what he's doing online. The funny thing about it is it's the exact opposite in real life. Like it's like polar opposite. Mason's online persona versus his real life persona could not be more different, and I would say that it's pretty well the case with myself also. So I'm going to try to figure out how to how to get a little better about that. We'll see. Right now, well, joke's on me. It said left Joy-Con, but oh, well, right now both of them are connecting. We're gonna go into controller settings. Okay, so left Joy-Con is at the very least intermittently connecting. It's charging and it's connected, but it's connected wirelessly. It doesn't show it actually being connected to the tablet. This gives me the assumption that there is just an issue with either the tablet rail or the Joy-Con rail, and we're going to try to figure out which one it is, one way or the other. Best way to do that's going to be seeing what we can find under the microscope. This is the Joy-Con rail. Joy-Con rail definitely shows signs of corrosion. So the Joy-Con rail appears to have some issues, and then the tablet rail also appears to have some issues. In situations like this, where it does end up costing us a little bit more, because we're not going to replace just one or the other, I'm going to replace both of them. I could replace one, see if it fixes the problem, and then replace the other, and then see, you know, if it was one or the other. But in this situation, we'll just replace both of them and not think about it. Do I have a good rail right here? Oh, it is not the same one. Where you know, sometimes laziness pans out in my favor, but not in this case. So I'm gonna grab that's a left Joy-Con. We got plenty of left Joy-Con parts over here. All right, yep, this one looks like a good candidate. There's our rail. And then I need to pick up well, we got Joy-Con rails here. I don't know if are both of these left or right. Well, maybe I can be lazy. There's still a chance for me to be lazy. The only other thing I need now is a tablet rail. Where are our tablet rails? Still looking for tablet rails. They should be over here in the, okay. Switch, HAC, left rail. I'm just gonna bring the whole bucket rather than pull one out. There's our rails. Maybe one of those rails in there has what we need. We're gonna do the easy part first, which is the Joy-Con rail. And while this isn't a very complicated repair, there is a reasonable and straightforward path to success, which is what I want to have for these live streams, just so you don't. Yay! Thank you. I don't know if you're still watching, Mason, but the new card machines are here. Unfortunately, not going to get to set them up right now, but at the very least, it will be tomorrow. So hopefully our woes with card processing are finished. Of course, you know, as with everything else in this business, all solutions two problems we have tend to be temporary at best, no matter what. I guess that's just life. Okay, I need tweezers. We left our bank merchant processor a long time ago because they were too high, and then here we are again, back with our old merchant processor because the guy that courted us and said he'd be cheaper and was cheaper, actually was cheaper at the time. Apparently our bank said that after COVID, they were, because so many different payment processing companies popped up, they didn't really have a choice but to become competitive. Hi, Amber. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, now I don't know if I can get focused to get this close. Oh, is it on autofocus? It's on autofocus. Maybe it's not on autofocus, I'm just bad at this. Or it's too close. No, it's autofocus, and we're not gonna, okay, but we can put it under the microscope. Try to do this. That is some corrosion if I have ever seen it. So, reasonable solution. Swap out that rail, and that's what we're gonna do. Oh gosh. There we go. So first, maximum laziness. We're gonna see if either of these rails are the same. Oh, look at that. We got a same rail. So what I'm gonna do is take off this board, pop out those. This board's gonna go off. The red screws, or the red buttons, are going to come out. And then we're gonna take the yellow buttons. Oh, I gotta move you guys back over. I apologize. All right. Yellow buttons coming from our bad tablet, or our bad Joy-Con rail. We're missing the hole on this one too. Where is it? Oh, that's the... How did I manage to lose it this fast? There we go. So after this, our Joy-Con rail will no longer be a variable in the equation, but I reasonably assume that we are going to continue to have well, this has a metal rail on it. I don't think that really matters though. We're just gonna send it. I'm not very you know what? We're swapping it. I'm not partial to those. I don't like the metal I don't know what you call them, the little locking mechanism that keeps the Joy-Con in place, because them being plastic allows the Joy-Cons to be a failure point, or to prevent, or to kind of reduce the negative impact of a fall by letting the controller pop out whenever the system falls. So you don't have to worry about, like, yeah, the button stream deck for camera chain. I mean, yeah, I guess at least in the sense that it would put it over here, but like my keyboard's right here, and I've got hotkeys. Maybe I could move hotkeys to number pad, but it's I'm I'm lazy. I mean, I guess, I don't know why I say that, because like I love spending money on tech. Why would I not want to? Why, you know, I just buy a, maybe I'll wait to find one at a pawn shop. That's what I'll do. My entire recording or content creation outfit was furnished at a pawn shop, one way or the other, except like supporting stuff like tripod, arms for my cameras and my microscope camera and all that. That stuff bought retail. Cameras, and I did also buy my what do you call it? The quad link HDMI capture card. Four inputs. Oh no, did I put on the, man, no, I didn't. Calm down, Zach. That's right. I'm overthinking. Oh yeah, we're gonna swap out the little rail connector thingy. Not gonna use this metal garbage. For those of you who use this, I'm sorry, but to me, garbage. I just took the screw out, but it is still very much connected. Oh, it's clamped in place, okay. All right, we got the cover off. Spring goes bye-bye. And now we have that out of the way. So, in order, as a part of continuing to harvest everything we can off of the old Joy-Con rail, we're going to take screw, try to pull this off without losing the spring because the other spring's already missing. Man, these things are on here tight, even without the screw. There we go. For anyone who's in the game store owners sphere, Gamma is next week. Oh, I just saw that spring pop out. Darn it. Why does that spring have to be under so much compression? Because it is definitely gone. And I'll look for 5 seconds before giving up. And I give up. All right, yep, the spring is too small. We got another one right here, so we at least have it cleared out. But yeah, Gamma's happening next week. It's in our hometown. You know, I don't know. I have a burden, or I have a problem to overcome, because like there's a lot of editing that goes into what Tronics Fix makes, and that is like, and of course it's all like, you know, he kind of caters what he makes to, you know, what is going to be the most likely stuff. Like he puts himself in situations where it's like, yes, I would want to see, you know, oh, I bought 20 Xbox Ones from eBay? Can I make money and things like that? Like, I can see why people would want to watch that. For us, it's just like, you know, there are situations where we get into spots like that, but not enough. Oh my gosh, the other spring just popped out. Why is this happening to me? But yeah, that's it's easy for me to oh, I hate this. It's easy for me to record. It is not easy for me to edit, and where nothing against you, Mason, but I don't think you. Oh, I found it. Oh, I found one of them. One of the three. Oh, I don't think even Mason has the capacity to edit the stuff that I'm putting together in a way that would make it comparable to. He's got a whole like setup together for it. You know, clean work area, good backgrounds, all that stuff. Like there's a lot more that goes into his setup than I feel like we could realistically put together. And then the amount of editing, just the additional editing that would need to be done outside of that just makes it really hard to. It's like, yeah, we could do it, but would we be doing it right? And I just don't think we would. So this is Atlanta. Maybe like I like the idea of short form because that's what the most people are interested in anyways, is short form content. So like we did that little reel where Nate did a PS5 HDMI port on a PS5 Slim, and that performed very well. And you know, it's a lot easier to edit 60 seconds worth of content than it is to edit 20 minutes worth of content and have it, you know, be continuously engaging and all that good stuff. Okay, so it goes in like this, and I'm just dumb. I don't usually have to swap these around. I usually just keep them the way that they are. Okay, that's how you do it. You gotta compress the spring and just drop it straight in. So it's gonna keep me. Yeah. I'm and I keep trying to. I keep trying to figure. No. You stay with me. I keep trying to figure out a way to maintain a consistently clean work environment, and I can't do it. I can't do it, and there's no reason. I don't feel like there's any good reason for me to try to do it anymore. So it is what it is. All right, we got the mechanism back in place. Let's screw it back down. Now we just gotta socket this back in place. So we recently moved to a more generic quoting model for repairs, and it makes me feel a little better about doing both of these, because this repair is actually quoted at a higher price, just assuming that it's the rail itself. But or the tablet rail itself, because that's where it tends to be the issue. But it makes it really easy to, makes it a lot easier to rationalize just going ahead and do both when both are provided. There's always trade-offs when you're putting together a pricing structure, one that can, you know, I've had setups where it's like, you know, we try to detail every repair down to the T, so, you know, there's a quote for everything, and between all of the devices that we work on, it just ends up being way too complicated. So moved away from that. Looks like we have this back in place pretty good. I'm not gonna, let's drop all this extra, well, throw that away. Right now, I'm pretty comfortable with how our system is set up. Our pricing by diagnostics, it's not too simple to where it's like we just have one price for everything, but it's not so complicated that we have, you know, 20 different variables to try to suss out in the intake process, which is not something that I want my employees to have to do while they're on the floor. The easier it is for them, the more effective they can be. Which does create a good case for just like all, or the single price, or just like everything. The only thing, like you could do ranges, but ranges come with their own set of problems, because like the switch, just the switch for example, we charge like $50 for an SD card slot, so that's the low end, and then we have full assembly replacement, or like a motherboard swap or something like that, which is $150. So like you say, yeah, it starts at $50, goes up to $150. Everyone's gonna be leaning on that $50 side and not on the high side. And so it's, unless you can like still have to kind of suss out where the roughly where the price is going to end up, so you can set a good expectation. And that's I feel like our setup currently does a pretty good job with that. But yeah, Gamma is next week. Gamma is game store. I don't know the actual acronym, but it's like a convention for people in our industry, the game store owners industry. Whether it's, you know, board game store owners, card game store owners. I don't really think it's geared towards video game store owners very much. But you know, we fit the bill, and we got Gamma membership this year so that we could go to the expo. I'm very excited to do some good networking, put some faces to some names with companies that we deal with, and kind of my goal is to try to lead people who came here, because people from all over the country come out to Gamma, and my goal is going to be to lead people out of Gamma and funnel them to the store to kind of, you know, show off our process, show some of the stuff that we do that maybe people don't currently do. We do a lot with card robotics, and I know there's a lot of people who, you know, in different capacities, who are on the fence about getting into the use of card robotics, and where we've already have 2 Roka machines, which are actually right behind me. I need to get one of them going again. We have 2 Roka machines. Ow, that was shocking. We have 2 Roka units that are pretty much always, well, while people are here, pretty much always mostly price sifting and then sometimes sorting. We've also got a fizz batch that's coming from, they're actually, the company who runs fizz batch is going to be at Gamma, and they're like, hey, can we use your guys' machine that we built for you guys? Can we just use that as the demo machine at Gamma, and then you guys don't pay freight shipping of like $600, and we don't, and then, you know, we're able to have like real hands-on training and all that stuff using the fizz batch. We'll get to see our unit in action. It's going to be the demo unit that they're going to be using at their booth. So that actually ends up being really good for us, and it was really convenient timing that, you know, we decided to get on one of those before we right before Gamma. So the stars aligned, so to speak. We are replacing this rail. Gonna pull power first. Oh, let's get a little closer. There we go. Pull power and then slide out the old rail connector. But yeah, that's really convenient. We're gonna get to you know, directly network with some of the companies that we have been dealing with for a long time, and, you know, new relationships that we're building with robotics. But yeah, my goal is to, with how much we do in robotics, I think we're good examples to show other stores, you know, how we utilize robotics in our operation and the value that it brings. And, you know, I'm kind of torn, really, because on one side, like, I really don't like the idea of giving my competition free information, but I also don't really see people, you know, who are in other states and whatnot as active competition, so maybe there's no harm, or I'm not like expecting us to get to such a large nationwide presence that their knowledge of our setup will be detrimental to us. I kind of like flexing, you know, I really do. I love to flex. I'm all about flex one way or the other. You know, so this rail on this side looks pretty good, but the whole story will be told when we push the little pin out and let move back over here first. There's a little pin that you can push out in here, and that will let us see the whole pin line. There we go. Now we can go back, look at the, yeah, so this is actually a great indicator of why we should have just replaced both of these in the first place, because that's bad. That is real corrosion. So this is going to get a new Joy-Con rail, or a new tablet rail, and between those two things, our problem should be solved. This is garbage, garbage, garbage. I would be in a much better state with my work area if I just threw away garbage as it collected in my work area. Very bad about that. So now we have our left tablet rails. Hey, these are, okay, well, I need right tablet. So I guess I had Nate label these, and he labeled them by how which side they are when the system's being worked on, rather than which side they are actually when you're looking at the system from the normal orientation. Right rail. All right. Well, since I'm already over here, I'll just grab one. yeah, I'm really looking forward to being at Gamma and taking advantage of all of the good networking opportunities that it's going to provide us, and then look at new technologies and new advancements in the game store owner's realm. It's funny, like most people wouldn't think that, you say game store and you're not thinking about like high technology robotics and things like that being used, but it's there's very real and practical applications of those kind of technologies in our line of work, and I'd say we do a pretty good job of staying ahead of the curve by using current technology when the value that technology offers is clear and quantifiable. Having had the Roca machines now for a couple of years, I have nothing but positive things to say about them. Support is good. The hardware stays working. Our first unit we bought from Roca directly. The second unit we bought from a store that ended up selling it because they believed they weren't using it to its fullest potential. So between our two devices, things work the way that we need them to, and we're very happy to have them in our tool set. It enables us to do things that we would otherwise just not be able to do, because without reallocating our manpower, which manpower is always a struggle. It has been and will continue to be. And that is a struggle that you can't really fix. Where you can fix it, it tends to only stay fixed in the short term. Robots, as long as they work, exist for the long term. So, and you know what, I say that, but I don't want it to come off as like, if I could replace everybody with robots, I would, because for one, you really can't. There's no effective way to replace or to do the full spread of work that's required in this industry specifically with robots. It also, part of what makes this business successful is the human interaction that you get from people when you come into a store to buy something. Like, you can't go walk up to a clerk at Walmart and expect a dialogue about a product that you're interested in or anything like that. And that is the human interaction factor that you get with a business like ours is a very real selling point for people. I like it. I like being able to go into other stores and being able to talk to people about the stuff that I like that they have and all that stuff. And that is where the brick and mortar retail experience will never really die. But there is also, I play both sides because I genuinely love online shopping. I just bought a bed last night, actually, sight unseen. Most people would go to a store and think, like, oh, I need to, lay on some beds and all that. I spec shopped, and I, sourced reviews from places and, tried to take in as much information as I could before, making a decision. And, I didn't need a salesman. I didn't need a a place to go to and lay on the beds. Maybe I could have, but it's like the same problem that I have with the dealership model, like a car dealership, I have with just about every, salesperson motivated business where, their rate of pay is directly correlated by whether or not they're selling you something. I hate that business model. I would never think about putting myself or my employees in that kind of business model. And I actively try to avoid those kind of business models. I bought a minivan recently. I decided it was time to bite the bullet, and I wish I did it sooner because minivans, in hindsight, are absolutely awesome. The where I wanted to buy a new one because the value between new and used is so marginal now that the value between new and used with cars, at least currently, is so marginal right now that there's not really a good argument to be made for buying used, unless you can find a really good deal on something, which, good deals are few and far in between right now. So I bought new. I went to a dealership, and I went into it not necessarily dreading the process because I actually love negotiating. I love, trying to do everything I can to get the best deal possible. So like that part is genuinely enjoyable for me. It is something that where I know in the best case scenario, buying from a dealership is I'm the person who is selling me something is just going to make less money, and that's my goal is for them to make the least amount possible because they're selling it to me as close to the lowest that they can reasonably sell it as possible. And that's just like that situation shouldn't exist in the first place. There's no reason for that situation to exist in the first place. So I really like the Tesla model in that regard. I'm not going to get into, whether I like Tesla or, Elon Musk or anything like that, but the selling model that they have, no salesman, no dealership overhead or having to haggle and negotiate. I like that stuff when there's opportunity. Like I go to pawn shops and I haggle because I know there's opportunity for me to actually extract value from them in that capacity, versus a dealership is like, okay, best case scenario, I'm getting this as cheap as you guys can reasonably sell it. And I have to fight for that. And that's just, it's stupid. It's stupid. It really is. So getting away from those models is, those business models is of quantifiable value to me. Now, what I got, I spent a lot of time on Reddit. I'm answering your question, Keith. I spent a lot of time on Reddit, looking at different bed options. Nectar was one of the ones that I was looking at, and maybe I'll regret it because I think I ended up spending about twice the price of a Nectar. But I ended up going with, oh gosh, I can't even remember the name. Let me see. It's in my email. I got NOLAH, N-O-L-A-H, and I got the step down from their fanciest option in California King. I wouldn't have got California King if they made a Queen XL or something where the extra length exists without the extra width, because we don't really need the extra width, but the only way to get the additional 4 inches that you get with a California King, or that you get over, the standard is 80 inches once you get to I think full and Queen and King and all that, and it doesn't get longer under normal circumstances until you go into California King, where it gives you, I think it takes away from one side to give it to you on the other side, and that's, so I spent way more than I wanted to, but it very well reviewed. Tried to look at as many unbiased reviews as possible, taken all the data that it was available to make my decision, and hopefully I won't regret it. I do hate the idea of spending that much money on a a bed, but I've been having really bad back pain, mid to lower back pain, and I've been feeling the coils in my bed that we have currently. Like I can actually feel them in the bed without like just like, you know, press down a little bit and I kind of assumed for how old our bed was, I think it's, you know, probably a good 10 plus years old, that it was just time for a new one. So that's what we did. And I figured, what was the saying that I heard? Buy once, cry once. I went and where I normally wouldn't, you know, because you can find, you know, cheap memory foam mattresses for $300-400 on Amazon and things like that. And like, I instead, if I fell trapped to marketing gimmicks and all that, then they got me. But at least I reasonably assume that I won't have to think about buying a bed for another 10 plus years, and hopefully my quality of sleep will increase significantly. That's my biggest hope out of all this, is that I actually end up with decent quality sleep and no more back pain. I'm pretty sure my back pain is exclusively coming from how bad my bed is. So I've got high hopes. Worst case scenario, I'll have a better bed anyways. Best case scenario, I have a better bed and less back pain. Yeah, for the I think the company that I have does lifetime warranty too, so I guess there's that. But yeah, Nectar was definitely like in my realm of consideration, and maybe I'll end up regretting it. I spent a lot of time knowing that I needed to buy a bed, and it was just a matter of actually taking the time to sit down and do the research and make sure that I spend my money in the best way that I could possible. I don't mind buying nicer or more expensive things when there is, you know, reasonably justified reason to do so. Because if you buy garbage, you end up buying garbage more than once, and I want to try to avoid that. Did I really? I think I did. Missed a screw. I could probably disregard it, but we're not gonna. And then David, yes, we can reshell a ROG Ally, and I've heard about SD card issues with that device. Sounds like Keith's a lot more familiar with what's going on with that, so I'll just take his word for what it is. But yeah, I mean, shell swap. In just about any documented process that exists. I got into a Steam Deck recently for the first time, and that was actually an enjoyable device to be in. It was pretty well put together. From a repairability standpoint, it seemed pretty straightforward. Yeah, I forgot to do the SD card socket, or SD card socket screw. So it seems like it has a pretty good path to repairability and all that. So I like that. I like that device at least. And any device that doesn't use a ridiculous amount of glue or adhesive otherwise to secure their system is good for me. I'll break in anything as long as it doesn't use a whole bunch of glue and other adhesive to keep people from getting in. Like the Microsoft Surface tablets, for example, are a great example of that, where it's like you're pretty much guaranteed to break something getting into it for how bad they are. So I tend to avoid those. But I don't think that the ROG Ally really suffers with that. The 2DS XL, offhand, is one... That's the only system in the 3DS family that actually uses adhesive to cover... it uses adhesive to cover screws, and it's miserable. So you have a little back panel, and there's so much adhesive that you pretty much destroy the back panel pulling it off under there, no matter what you do. And so now I just bought more back panels, and I replaced them as a part of the repair process so that I don't have to worry about saving it. But it's a pain in the butt. To have to do that is a pain in the butt. All right, we got... Now I should have probably tested this before I should have tested this before fully reassembling it, but with this kind of repair, it tends to be a very, straightforward break fix type of situation, so I don't expect to have to do much more than what we've done so far. We're at least going to be able to get through. I got 45 minutes in today. We at least have time for one more repair. The next repair in our queue is a B2B switch that I'm going to get knocked out, and that'll be the last repair that I have for them to do. Droopy. So do I call you Drew or Droopy? Otherwise, nothing much. Just here doing the damn thing. Okay. Update repair sheet. Oh yeah, what am I doing? I'm over here completely ignoring my process entirely. I'm supposed to actually test this. That's probably what I should do is actually test it. Just because I'm confident that it's going to work doesn't mean I shouldn't test it. Okay, tablet shows that the Joy-Con is connected, and we're connected here, so disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect. All right, good enough for me. So at this point, we're going to call this repair finished. Really? Do I have this quoted at that price? We're gonna drop that. It was quoted incorrectly. So 100. Whoops. I'm going to call this customer real quick, let them know their system has been fixed and it's ready for pickup. Hello, this is Zack with Cardinal Gaming and Repair. I'm calling in regards to the Switch that you have here with us. Just calling to let you know that the repair has been finished and it's ready for pickup. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call back. Area code 502-795-2469, option 1. Thank you very much. Have a good day. I like to pride myself on leaving very good voicemails. In ages past, I used to work at a help desk, and I had to leave a lot of voicemails in a very professional environment. So had to do that a lot. Yeah, I mean, I do have 2 Middletown repairs, but we're gonna do the last B2B repair so it can be picked up. This is a very obvious USB-C port failure. I don't think I need to worry about it. So with these, as long as there's no other glaring issues to worry about. Well, thank you. Thank you, FOMO. That was a very professional voicemail I left, if I do say so myself. There's not a lot of things in this world that I try to be good at, but leaving voicemails is definitely one of them. If I die on my tombstone, I want it to read, professional voicemail leaver. Now, the best case scenario here is that this is just a USB-C port replacement and nothing else. And it can get worse and worse depending on what other failures happened because of this failure. So we're gonna hope for the best. And worst case scenario, we're contacting the customer and telling them that it's gonna be more expensive. Well, I guess in this case, we're going to contact the business that we're doing this for and tell them that it's going to be more expensive. Hopefully, it doesn't get that far. I like for my B2B repairs to be simple and straightforward, mostly because that means that they're going to save money and we don't have as hard of work to do. So, when it's easy for us, it's cheaper for them, everybody wins. I was going to try to keep up with our Roku devices, or Roku machines, but at this point I would be getting up too consistently. So I'm just going to let them simmer. We're a little short-staffed today, so don't really have anybody on hand who knows how to work them. But right now the box that we're going through anyways is a bad box. So a box that we did just get through was a very, very good box. It was all special basic. So for us, a special basic is any foil basic land, any full art basic land, and then snow covered basic. So the box that we went through had it was 3 rows filled with that kind of stuff, and needless to say, that box was probably, single 5K box, probably had at least $1,000 worth of just basic lands in it. That was very satisfying. It's not often. We're still going through a huge backlog of mostly unprocessed bulk. And we still get boxes like that every once in a while where it's just genuine value out of nowhere. Sometimes because like that box was almost exclusively because we didn't place a high value on that stuff at the time. This was like 4 years ago or something. And now I'm glad we did that because we put that box up and forgot about it, and then came back to it, and it was worth a lot more than when we put it up. And that's how it's supposed to go. I think the most recent card in that box was from 2020, so yeah, it was definitely good value. to be had. We're finished with that 5K now. We moved on to the next box, and that box was all Theros block, like Theros and Born of the Gods, Journey into the Nyx, and that box is hot garbage. So that's the two sides of bulk sifting. Sometimes you get boxes that are hot fire. Sometimes you get boxes that would be probably better to burn for heat than to even put them through the machine. And that's just how it goes, unfortunately. Some amount of pre-sifting could be done, I guess. Human intervention, but I don't know. What cards in the Theros block are expensive enough to be worth pulling out, because our threshold is 10 cents. Anything under 10 cents we don't worry about, but anything over 10 cents, we'll have the machines pull them out. And I'm sure there's cards worth more than 10 cents in Theros block. I don't know what they are. I'm not going to try to know what they are, but I know they exist. Right now we're just tearing this down to bare board. Now we're going to pull the old port off, and then after we pull the old port off, we're going to check for any common failure points that would happen as a result of USB-C failing. So that's what we're going to do now. Just got to disconnect everything. The switch is probably the system that I'm the most comfortable in, just from how many I've had to work on. I've passed on a lot of the like normal home consoles, Xbox, PS4, PS5, stuff like that. I've passed that off to Nate because as long as that stuff isn't like actual more complicated fault finding and diagnostics, he's geared to handle all that stuff. He can, replace disk drives, replace HDMI ports, replace power supplies, stuff like that. So it puts me in a situation where I don't know if get to is the right word to use, where it only makes sense for me to focus on this kind of stuff because I have somebody who can do the more straightforward stuff. So yeah, that leaves me with a bunch of small device repairs and complicated device repairs. Whether that's a good thing or not, it's not a good thing in the sense that I find myself in a lot more situations where I could be aggravated. So that sucks, but it's also good that I don't have to worry about the more common break fix stuff because we've got a professional. Well, you know what? I can do it this way. I'm trying to keep this in camera, so this way I can keep it in camera. Could have sworn I was on autofocus. Yeah, I'm on manual focus. Oh, okay, it was just too close then earlier. Well, wait, I can fix this problem. All right, I'm left-handed, so I need to be able to. So right now I'm just heating up this port until it falls off. Eventually the solder will liquefy and the port will separate. We're not going to use any force whatsoever because force is how you pull pads, and then an easy job becomes a very difficult job. We're going to try to avoid that. Had a guy earlier bring in a PS5 Slim. He bought it at an auction. Looks like a pallet return, or a system that was returned from Amazon. Paid $350 for it. No, $380. And after we fix it, he's going to be spending over retail. But that's the gamble that you take whenever you buy pallet return stuff. Okay, this angled nozzle is not cutting it, so I'm just going to have to do it the hard way. Well, not the hard way, but the way that doesn't look as nice. I don't tell people not to try it at home, Mason. Let them try it at home. They just have to be ready to spend more than they would have otherwise when they cause more damage than they fix. Whoops, I turned my air off. Should have just did this the old-fashioned way. So now this is taking longer than it should have. There we go. Alright, no pads pulled. That is a good sign, automatically. Next thing we're going to do is move to the microscope. And we're going to check for commonly failed components that fail as a result of USB-C failure. That looks good. Alright, straight for me, straight for you guys. I'm going to break out my multimeter, put it in diode mode. We're going to check for shorted caps around PI3, which is this IC right here, mainly just this cap. And that's not shorted, which is a good sign. This filter is usually the first to go whenever any kind of power-related issues happen. That's good. We're going to swap this around. We're going to look for a couple more common failure points. Here's our M92. Microscope quality is top notch. I need to get a different reducer or whatever it is, but alright, we're going to check this row capacitors. Good, 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 good. Alright, all this points to a clean HDMI port replacement with no other No other stuff necessary. So in order to start that process, we're going to flow leaded solder onto the pin line and the anchors. Okay, we don't need thermal camera, so I'm going to unplug thermal camera so it doesn't make noise. All right. Got leaded solder floating to our anchors. Now I'm going to try again. I'm going to try to do this all under the microscope, if I'm lucky. Before we do that, though, we need to get us a new USB-C port and then prepare it. Move this out of the way. There's our USB-C port. Error. Please use a keyframe. Note that ingestion errors can cause incorrect DLP. Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Yeah, I don't know what that means, YouTube. Okay. OBS output advanced. File, settings, output. Oh, advanced. Keyframe interval. Output. I do not see keyframe interval. Yep. Don't know what to do here. Oh well. Maybe it's in here. Settings. Nope. Settings. It's not in. Well, I'm not going to worry about this anymore because I don't think anything that I can do is going to fix the problem in the short term. So I'll just fiddle with it later. It's only on YouTube side that I'm getting an issue like that. So Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how good or bad it looks on YouTube side, but we're gonna prepare this port by flowing some leaded solder onto the pins. All right, got our USB-C port ready. Oh, I know how I can do this. Yay, I get to do it the way that I want and show it probably in a better manner than my overhead camera would. All right, there's our port. Well, there's the area where the port will go. Got my port. We're going to bring heat from the underside. I'm going to wait to see everything liquefy. This actually looks really good. I'm happy with this. Mason, use this for content. You're seeing the solder liquefy now. We need it to liquefy everywhere though. Looking good. I want to get a little more heat on that corner so it doesn't look like that last pin made a connection. That's probably as good as it's going to get. Keeping this on until it looks like all the solder has dried. Well, cooled, that's the better word. It has solidified. Port looks good now. Wiggle test on some of these pins. Alright. Nope, that one's not connected. Alright, so we do need some more heat. I don't like to solder these individually because if the outer pin line is not making good connection, then it's probably the case that the inner pin line is also not making good connection. So I use the outer pin line to gauge. If the outer pin line is good, it is likely that the inner pin line is also good. Alright, let's try that again. That could have been bad. Didn't dock my hot air gun properly. That could have caused problems and issues. We got one pin wiggling. Two, three. Maybe more flux will help. Ooh, don't want that. I'll try to let more flux do the job. All right, I think that got it. This is so cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, looks like flux did the job there. Not that one though. All right, we're gonna spot solder that single pin. I need to buy more a new let's see. That's bad. I think all my micro pencil tips are bad right now. For what it's worth, I'm pretty sure the only pin with the issue is ground. So it doesn't really matter, but there we go. We got it good. Double check all these other ones. All right, pin line looks good. So we're gonna move back to overhead. I'm just going to drop this in. I could test this without dropping it in just by plugging up a well, right here. Good easy way to test without dropping it in. But I like to just do a partial reassembly because that makes it to where I can see it working rather than just have a number representation of it working. So we're gonna, but this will, we should see on our voltmeter a transfer or a switch from 5 volts to 15 volts and then a good amp draw. There's our transfer and it's drawing 0.47 or 470 milliamps. That switch off is, I'm pretty sure that's a good sign. But let's do this. Best way to see a device working properly, or to see a switch working properly, is to have the charge indicator come up whenever we plug it in with the backlight, LCD, and battery connected, and nothing else. That's all we need. Try to get all this stuff staged. So if it works, then we can just go ahead and reassemble. Get these flex connectors. It's always a pain in the butt. I always have trouble. There we go. So we need backlight, which is this connector. We need LCD, which is this connector. And then battery. So with these things, we can plug this in, and our visual indicator will be the charging sign, which we have it. So the first aspect of this system that we need to have working is working correctly, and that is that it is charging. The only other thing that we need to test is docking output. With that main filter working, and that I tested earlier, and the main capacitor above PI3 USB not shorted out that I also tested, it is likely that we will not have any dock connectivity issues, but dock connectivity could also fail because of the USB-C port not attached correctly. So that's the best way for us to check that the job that we performed was successful. Now I have to let the system charge enough for us to for it to be able to turn on, and then after it boots, we'll be able to test for dock output. But in the meantime, we can at least partial reassembly, kind of gambling on that it will work, because if it doesn't, then everything I'm doing right now is a waste of time. But I'm a little confident. I'm a little confident. I see backlight is on down here. That tells me that it's still charging, because it will stay on, it will show that charge logo, and that logo requires backlight. So as long as that light is on, I know that it is still charging without me flipping it over and checking. Some would probably say that I shouldn't reassemble this while it's plugged into power, but I cannot say that I've ever had any issues that were from reassembly during or while the system was plugged in. All right. Maybe if like I shorted a component, but I don't be doing that. I did do that once on a PS5 or a PS4, where I shorted 5 volts and I destroyed the south bridge, and I made a simple repair a more difficult repair. So I don't do it on that system, but I have not had that issue with this, and this allows me to be more efficient with my time. Still charging. All of our connections have been made with the exception of the cartridge slot reader. This is the last connection to make. What time is it? 3:30? Ooh. I'm making good time here. All right. That means we did this in about 45 minutes. Give or take. That's with me talking and all that good stuff. So now the only problem in this situation is the further that I go, the worse it is if dock output does not work. So this is a reasonable stopping point because I don't want to have to reapply thermal paste and all that good stuff if the device doesn't work. So this is going to be where we stop. All of our screws are in place. The only thing that we need to do is put back on the heatsink and then metal shield and reassemble. So we're going to continue to let this charge. There, now you don't see the glare. Now I got the charging symbol. When that goes off, we can move into testing. In the meantime, we are going to look at what's next in the queue. Oh, how exciting. Charge port not working, probably in a dog. Well, that error message from YouTube went away, so I guess it was short-lived. That's not exciting. But we do have a Xbox Elite controller with joystick drift. That is more exciting. I'm doing this a little out of order, but both of these are Middletown repairs, so I can, as long as I have them both fixed before they would go back, there's no complication there, you know. So while we're waiting for charge port while we're waiting for the the switch to finish charging, I'm just going to set that off to the side for now, and we're going to break into this bad boy. This is a Series 2 Elite controller, stuck right joystick, this one right here. We're going to first test that issue to make sure that we are looking at the correct problem. We don't fix something that's not broken. And we can close that. All right. There's our joystick tester. I need, got a USB right here. Plug it up. And we are looking for issues with the right joystick. When we plug it in, it detects controller. It detects controller. Detect the controller now, come on. There we go. Oh, go away. All right. So left joystick, no response. Right joystick, no response. What's going on here? I am not Our standard repair price for Nintendo Switch, no power, so the USB-C port replacement that I did, in a customer environment is $100, and in a business-to-business environment is $60. So we give business-to-business a discount because they tend to give us volume, and that cheaper price is justified by more work to do, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah, but I cannot get this controller to plug up when I... Oh, well, there we go. Alright, left joystick. Seems like it is working correctly. And with our controller, or with our device repair, we try to make... Yeah, I can see where... Actually, this feels more like a physical issue with the joystick. Oh yeah, this is a physical issue with the joystick rather than a like a joystick drift or something like that. We try to, for the sake of generating more revenue from our repair operation, and to maintain the value of our repairs, we try to charge relative to the value of the device. So, you know, there's not a good situation where it's like I'm saying, hey, I've got this Switch, I can sell you a tablet by itself for like $200 or even less. I don't know what we're selling them for, but I can sell the Switch by itself for one price, or I can charge you the same price to fix it. And it's like, you know, most people are like, well, I'll just take a good condition used one instead, unless like data was important or something like that. So we try to make all of our repairs cost effective. In this case, you know, fix no power on a Switch, keep your data and all that stuff for $100, or replace the device for $200. You're saving money and you're keeping your data and all that good stuff. That's how we go about generating our pricing for repair. But yeah, I'm able to verify this is indeed a right joystick issue. There's nothing else we need to do in that regard. For a controller issue like this, and I need to make sure that it was quoted correctly. Yep, they did not, well, no, did I? Xbox Elite controller, oh, I did lower the price. Do you know how to extract Bitcoin off a PC if I brought it in? No. I know absolutely nothing about. I mean, if the computer was broken, like no power, and you needed to, like, you know, well, that would be a, you know, plug the hard drive or solid state or whatever into another device and extract the data that way. But like, yeah, no, in terms of extracting data, I don't do. The realm in which I do data recovery is mostly just bringing a defective device back to life so that you can access the data. We don't really have a clean room to do hard drive platter repair or swapping heads and stuff like that. That's just that's a whole different business model, really. But in the same aspect, I guess, with that stuff would be like, you know, you'd probably want to find somebody who knows the extraction process to try to do something like that. It's funny, I've seen a lot of those videos recently where it's like, oh, I know I got a bunch of Bitcoin on this computer, and then somebody finds out how to extract it, and then it turns out that it's some insignificant number rather than what they expected it to be. That's funny. I am a computer reviver. I'm an electronics reviver. I don't want to limit it to just computers. I revive electronics. For this controller, we're charging $40 for one joystick. That is... somebody's been in here before. Well, I'd have to say it's so because the front cover is not stock, so that explains that pretty well. Makes it easier for me, at least. But we're focused on this guy right now. Yeah, this isn't a computer. I guess you could say this is a computer, actually. So I am reviving this computer. It computes in some capacity. It do be computing. T8. Let's try T8. Oh yeah, this is security, isn't it? Yep. T7 should do the job. Screw's not holding very well to anything. I can feel the lack of plastic for it to bite into. All right, are we gonna be able to? I've got 26 minutes, 24 minutes roughly, before I need to prepare myself to leave. So if I can get this computer, this controller, if I can get this controller fixed and get that switch tested working and reassembled, then that will be oh gosh, what did I fix before this? Was it just the switch? No, it was something else. What else did I fix? Oh yeah, it was another switch. That's what it was. The whatchamacallit. Oh, it looks like somebody's been in here before. Oh, it was probably me. Maybe. I don't know. I have to look up this customer, but now it looks like somebody's been in here before, and people tend to bring me back stuff. I kind of remember that front panel, so that makes more sense. So what I'll do is I will try to see to what extent the issue they're having could be related to any work that I did, just on the off chance that we did not fix an issue correctly. But stuff like this tends to be pretty straightforward, so, you know, most likely situation is, you know, they probably threw their controller or something, because it's physical. It's physical damage to the joystick, so it's very unlikely that anything like that happened in this case. But we won't rule it out entirely for the customer's benefit. We're gonna just disconnecting everything so we can Alright, got all of the wiring disconnected. We're gonna switch this around, and we're going to unscrew so that left joystick. Looks like both of these were done. This left joystick is fine. Yeah. I'm going to go back and just make sure, yeah, no, these aren't the same joysticks, actually. If you look inside, this one's clear or white, and then this one's black. Let me see which ones I use, because I know I've had the same ones this entire time. Okay, they are black. Well, maybe it was a different batch or something, but it definitely looks like both of these were replaced, so we will find out what we can. In the meantime, let's get this down to just the joystick board. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I'm going to call it. Shouldn't be anything else holding this together, so we should just be able to pop it out. Nothing else holding this together, right? There we go. Yeah, looking at the joystick, it doesn't look bad. I'm not sure. I'm going to see how old this repair was from the last one. I'm pretty sure this was ours. I don't think there's really anybody else in the city doing joysticks on controllers. Okay, there's a different controller. Maybe I didn't work on this. Just going through all of our well, can't find anything that designated that we did it specifically, so he's either brought in by somebody else or somebody else worked on it. I don't know. I can't pretend to know, so I'm going to not know. And then we are going to pull this off to replace it. In the meantime, we have a black screen on here now, so we can turn this on. It's likely powered on right now, yeah. All right, so we've got it turning on and charging like it's supposed to. I'm gonna come over here, throw it in our tester dock, switch input. our complete success will come from dock output on this. The dock recognizes it, green light, and you guys can't see it over there, but I see dock output the way that it's supposed to be. So switch has been properly fixed. And since that is the case, I am going to finish what I started on that. We are going to reassemble the switch, and then once it's done, we'll move back to the the Xbox controller. Thermal paste. Don't need a lot. It's a very small die. We're going to use power tools. So this puts us in a much better position than our previous repair streams where, you know, so far, everything that we've worked on, we fixed. Off stream, over the last week or two, I've fixed a couple of laptops. One would have actually been a really good candidate for a stream or content creation in some capacity where liquid damage, after the liquid damage, the system would not, or the laptop would not charge anymore, and it stayed on until the battery ran out of power. So after poking around, there's two USB-C ports on it. Both of them supply power to the laptop. I was able to verify that one of the USB-C controller chips was bad, and then one of the USB-C ports itself was bad. And I replaced those, and now both ports charge correctly, and the system powers on, and that was actually a lot of fun, and it required, you know, some amount of diagnosis and trying to figure out, you know, why what was happening. And then another laptop, you know, I don't know if it's most, but a lot of keyboard You got it. What was that first name again?
Harold.
It's on the way. That was fast. Here you go. XYAB, blah. Okay. Oop, I need to sneeze. Do I? Am I gonna sneeze? No, I'm not gonna sneeze. Never mind. All right. All of our screws are reassembled. Reassembly is never fun. Yeah, that the switch that I just fixed, actually, the what do you call it? The first repair that we did today, that was the customer coming to pick it up. That was fast. He came and got it fast because I leave such good voicemails. Oh, did I? I don't think I updated the spreadsheet though. Did I? Yeah, I did. Never mind. I'm just overthinking. Hey, yeah, just like it needed to be. Good deal. Okay. Let's finish putting this system back together. All right. Last of our B2B stuff is finished. Was there a kickstand? It was not a kickstand. All right. If I had one convenient, I would have given it to him. The switch is good. Now we can have our focus down to specifically this joystick. I'm going to do that by clamping it down. Turn on my heat gun or my desoldering iron. This is another one of those situations where it'd probably be better for me to just go nozzleless. But I want to do this on camera, and if I go nozzleless, it pretty much hides everything. Alright, we gotta go nozzleless. Sorry, guys. Only reasonable way this is happening. And there it goes. It has happened. What I'm going to do now is oh yeah, let's do this. All right, we got a bunch of anchors, or a bunch of, well, anchors and other stuff filled with old solder. We're going to clean them out so we can put it in the new port and secure it without having to do much else. Since I'm pretty sure I was the one that did this, and that means that there's already leaded solder in here, but if I just put more in, it helps the solder sucker have something to attach to. That way it can effectively pull all the solder out. Clear hole. Good. That one's not good. We fixed it. That one's not good. Still didn't fix it, so we're going to have to flow more solder in there. That one's also not good. So we have 2, 3. 3 that we're going to need to flow some more solder into. One, 2, 3. Got that one. Got that one. Still got one anchor that's not cooperating. There we go. Alright, all the holes have been cleared out. Could have sworn I took out a joystick, but either I put it back or it's lost in the ether. This is the old one. So let's get us a fresh joystick. Looks like it's holding itself in place pretty well. Alright, I'm going to tack it down. Get a couple of these anchors. Yep, we're good. Just making sure the solder flows down the legs all the way. Alright. Darn it, I knew one side wasn't all the way down. Okay, well, we're going to solve that with some whoops, that is not where I wanted to put that. I'm going to use heat to even this out. Not worth trying to show on camera because I can't effectively. But pretty much what I'm doing is just heating it all uniformly so I can push it down and it will be level. There we go. The joystick is connected and it's level. We got full movement, no sticking. So the next step is going to be we're going to plug it up for testing. Good thing is we can partial reassembly, test it, and if it needs calibration. Oh wait, Xbox has the new calibration software. I might try that out. No, it might just be on Xbox. I don't know if it's on computer. We'll see how that works. I might not need to recalibrate manually or with hardware. Yeah, let's get back down to, there we go, proper zoom. We're going to reassemble this enough for a good testing setup. That means get this lined up correctly. Fold those back. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. Good enough. Either way, at this point, there's nothing that we would need to do that would require us to have to disassemble it, unless the joystick just does not work, but that is rarely, if ever, the case. I don't think I've seen that issue before. Get that reasonably tightened down. Feels the same. Now we can start reassembling this. Where's my screwdriver head? My bit driver head. Oh, there it is. I was looking for you. All right. Now I can do this properly, rather than just using the bit itself, trying to screw it back in. All right. Get this reattached. Get these reattached. Need that. Little antenna sockets are always a pain in the butt for me. I do not like them. All right. Getting these wires reconnected. Again, stuff that we will only have to undo if the joystick does not work at all, which we are not expecting to be the case. Uh-oh, it is 410. I'm coming out now. All right, bye. Well, we ran over. Gonna have to cut it off right here. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll be back maybe not next week because of Gamma, but if you guys never need repairs, local Cardinal Gaming and Repair, 2 stores in the city, online, cnagames.com. That's all I have for you guys this evening, and look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Have a good one.